I'm Rosamond, and co-facilitating the session with Silke today, and we're part of the working group 1, exploring different projects for the Catalyst community, and Soul Lab is our project.
Yeah, and yes, I'm the second part of that. And yeah, my name is Silke. I'm calling in from Germany, from Munich. I am a founding member of a nonprofit green tech company called Wasser 3.0, and we work for waters without microplastics and micropollutants. I do communication and systemic business development there. Also work as a systemic coach and facilitator. And yeah, that it is from my side. And I think Faith, thank you very much for being here with us. And I think it's over to you for the first moment of some words on Catalyst, right?
Great. So with that, we're just going to share a little bit about Catalyst. And just for everyone's notice, we're recording this session. It will be available as well on our YouTube channel at the end of the session. So please feel free to carry on chatting. If you would like to learn a little bit more about Catalyst 2030's privacy policy, I will put a link in the chat halfway through the session. But now I would share a little bit of an introduction to Catalyst 2030 and for everyone. So please give your attention to this. Let's go.
Catalyst 2030 started life as a WhatsApp group among social entrepreneurs, connecting to envision real transformational change. Launched at the World Economic Forum in January 2020, it's grown into a global movement accelerating change to ensure the SDGs are reached by 2030. Fueled by passion, our 550 members working in 175 countries have collectively put in an amazing 50,000 volunteer hours, touching the lives of 2 billion people. And we're driven by values, to which we hold ourselves accountable. 2020 was a busy year, co-creating 3 reports with partners and producing one of our own. Inviting high-level guests to participate in the Catalyzing Change campaign, hosting fireside chats and expert hours, which will be continuing in 2021. To celebrate our achievements, together we placed our supporters in the limelight with the first Catalyst 2030 Awards for Systemic Change. With the blessing of the Dalai Lama, we celebrated finalists and winners in the following categories: special recognition for our early supporters, individual philanthropists, donor organizations, philanthropic intermediaries, corporate organizations, bi- and multilateral organizations, and 4 regional winners in the category of national governments. And now on to Catalyzing Change Week 2021. During this social entrepreneur-led event, we bring together diverse stakeholders in over 100 sessions to showcase their systems change efforts and the best practices that can accelerate our work in pursuit of the SDGs.
Over to you now, Silke and Ross.
Great, thank you very much, Faith. So welcome everybody, lovely to have you join us. And me and Silke are really excited to introduce you to what Soul Lab is. And I have just a couple of slides to share an overview. I'm just trying to get my screen a bit bigger of what we're going to be covering in the session today. Activities to get you started. So in a second we'll just do a little icebreaker activity called the Object Gallery, and then Silke and I will give you an introduction to what Soul Lab is and what we're hoping it'll achieve for the Catalyst community. And then we'll have another activity to do together, which is after Silke has done her lovely meditation. And at the end, we're really looking forward to hearing your feedback, and we'll be open to any questions around how we take Soul Lab forward for the community of Catalyst. So I think we shall probably get started on our Object Gallery activity. So I'm hoping, I know some of you have got things going on in the background, but it'd be really, really lovely if you could join us for this session. Well, I think we'll stay in this room, Faith, if that's all right. I think we'll be fine for the attendees. So I'm going to just invite everyone to have 1 minute to get out of their seats. I mean, if it's at your desk, then that's an advantage, but everyone's welcome to get out of their seats and quickly dash somewhere to find an object nearby that has real great meaning to you and that you feel prepared to tell a story about and share with the rest of the room. So it might be something connected to your work. It might be something connected to what you're really passionate about, a powerful memory that inspires you for your life. So I'm going to set the timer now for 1 minute. And if everyone's happy to jump away from their screens, have a quick dash, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay. Hopefully everyone's found something. I think I'll give everyone just a few more seconds. Oh,
it would have been interesting if you had brought your cat, Rosamond.
I wasn't thinking about that.
How that cat interaction.
I know, but he was fast asleep on the sofa and really happy, so I didn't want to disturb him. Yeah. But I'll invite Silke. Would you like to start, and then we can go around the room? Fab.
Yeah. So I brought it. It's a postcard, and it's in German, and I know only one can read it now, and that's Annika. So I will translate it. So it says, "But what if it is possible?" And I have that in myself because I took some major life-shifting decisions in the past years, and I'm just so very happy that I took them, and it was a tough journey sometimes, but it was so worth it. So now whenever I'm like going like, I have this idea, but who knows, I'm going like, if I look at it, it's just go for it. So it's a friendly reminder of it, how nice it can be. And so I just pass it over, and I go over to Ellen. Would you like to be next?
Sure. My name is Ellen. Thanks for having me today. I also have a postcard, and it's an image of Rosa obscenica, which is Ethiopia's only native rose, and it grows in the highlands of Ethiopia in a really rocky area. And I chose this because it represents resilience to me. And after the really challenging year that we've had and are continuing to have with COVID and the challenges around the climate and some other issues that we faced in Ethiopia, what has really created resilience for our organization and our team and myself is the sense of community that we have and how important community is for resilience. And I thought that tied in kind of nicely to what we're talking about today.
Great, thank you, Ellen. Would you like to pass to someone else, Ellen?
Sure, I'll pass to Kathleen.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathleen Riggs, and I'm also really happy to be here today. I realized that my dog is not an object, but she was nearby, also sleeping on the couch, and I thought she just gives me so much joy. Although this morning she was reprimanded for pulling trash out and ripping it apart on my office floor. So yeah, and I feel like I have another one, I love my dogs, but especially in the pandemic, they feel like they have been, the new four-legged colleagues in the office, and just so grateful to have them.
Wonderful, thank you, Kathleen. Would you like to pass on to someone as well?
I forgot that part. Sure, I'll pass on to, is it Faith?
Sure, that's me. Hi. I brought one of my ties, which sadly I have not been able to wear for over a year. I used to love to wear a suit and tie to work, and I couldn't bring out my 20-something suits that I've had no business for like a year, and my 15 ties that I don't get a chance to wear any longer. So it's very sentimental because pre-COVID, I used to really enjoy dressing up and going to the office. But these days, I just put on a blazer, jacket, whatever, from the same chair that I've sat in for like a year. So this is a reminder of what used to be and what might eventually be in the future. And I will pass it on to Anita.
Oh, I was going to explain as well, Anita, you've just joined us, haven't you? You haven't had a chance to do, we did a quick 1-minute dash to go and find an object that's like important to us or symbolic to us or something, you know, that inspires us. Would you like to go do that while we jump someone in? Before?
I know, I'm wearing them, so.
You are? Okay, go for it, yeah.
So I apologize for arriving late, and I also apologize that I may have to go. My daughter and my son just came home. I'm in Georgia, where it's already 8:15 p.m. and she might want some snuggle time, but lovely to meet all you fabulous people talking about values. I'm assuming it's a warm room because I'm about to do something woo-woo, but circles are very important to me. And so I just bought a pair of earrings. They symbolize, I study empathy and how to leverage empathy for social change. And a scholar who's from Turkey originally, but now in Washington, DC, studied Islamic art. And in an interview I did with her for my book, she shared with me the significance of the circle for empathy. So am I allowed to take a minute to share it with you? Because it's actually lovely. Yeah? Okay. So if you can picture a circle, it's made up of an infinite number of dots. Okay, so even if you add another dot, the circle just gets larger, right? So you can just keep adding dots. And she said, imagine all the dots along the circumference of a circle represented all the people that exist on the planet at the moment, right? And she said, now imagine the center part of the circle, which is like the epicenter. No matter where you are on the circumference of the circle, you have a slightly different perspective relative to the center. I mean, if you're next to each other, you have similar perspectives, but they're not exactly the same, right? However, all of the dots along the circumference of the circle are equidistant to the center. And so it's very powerful to think about the circle as a metaphor for empathy, because we all are equidistant to the center, source, God, whatever word you want to ascribe to where we all came from. And we all have different lived experiences and different perspectives, but we share something, and that is our common humanity, right? By being a part of that circle formation. So I've loved circles ever since, and I always wear these earrings when I do and I have a circle necklace too, when I do my interviews for my podcast. I just got off a call with one. So there's me in a nutshell.
Great, thank you, Anita. Perfect. I'm just thinking, because you weren't sure who was here before, were you? So is Annika or David available to do their object?
Yeah, I could do my object if that's fine with you. You guys can't see because I'm having trouble with my camera, so sorry for that. But I'm holding like a necklace, which I got for my birthday, and it has 2 pictures in it, one of my parents hugging each other and one of my girlfriend. And it's something that's really close to me and that I wear like every day. And it's very important to me.
Great.
Yeah, that's me.
Perfect. David, would you like to go?
Hi, Rods. Thank you for organizing. Yes, I'm here is bank holidays in London. I'm a little bit, with the kids and everything, but it's good to share some energy. I didn't, I'm preparing a snack for them right now, so that's why I'm not even turning on the camera. Fine. But yeah. I just didn't go, but I got an object, which is a basketball, because, I love sports, and my one is basketball. And thanks to this ball, you know, is a way for me not only, you know, to do some exercise and keep to fit or whatever. It's more about relationships. You know, I made a lot of friends all over my life thanks to this basketball. So I think it's a very good object for me because it's allowing me, you know, to connect with people and you know, share a lot of experiences, stories, and a few beers as well. So yeah, thanks so much, and back to you.
Great, thank you, David. Perfect. Okay, that was lovely.
You're the
lovely
last.
stories. I am the last. I was just mindful of time.
Yeah.
Shall I still jump in and do my 1 minute? Yeah. So I was going to get my cat, or possibly an instrument, and I ran past the fireplace, and I'd spotted my dad's old meditation singing bowl. And actually listening to all your stories gave a completely different dimension, because I was thinking my dad has always been really, really important to me, and the amazing influence from childhood of his Buddhism and experiencing very different perceptions of the world. Coming from the UK, it was very unusual growing up with a parent who was a Buddhist. And then I was thinking about the singing bowl and how I loved the sound as a child. And then as I've grown up, I've started to understand more and more of the spiritual symbolism of different sounds and different experiences, and started my own meditative practice. So I think part of it is all about transformations and how things have different meanings at different times. So yeah, that was the little singing bowl. Fab. Oh, I love doing that.
Yeah.
Hearing everyone's stories. It's beautiful. Okay, well, thank you very much again for joining us. And we're now going to move on and do our introduction of what Soul Lab is all about and the background to it. And then we'll invite you into experiencing part of a Soul Lab process. So I'm going to hand over to Silke, and I'm going to share my screen again because we have a lovely diagram.
Yeah, but you can do that a little later, maybe, because it's quite, yes, if so. Okay. But I just put in a few words, and we'll keep this technical side like very, very short and as simple. And so some of you might be familiar with Theory U, or like we heard empathic listening, active listening, peer coaching, circle. So that have been already elements that we are trying to incorporate in our Soul Lab. And Soul Lab is something Ross and I designed through our membership in the working group 1 on membership, actually. And it comes from our understanding of that we as members in Catalyst 2030 share something like on a very deep level, and that is our like passion, our desire, our need really for transformative or systemic change. So this is why most of us, we would just assume, are there, and this is where we experienced this connection of no matter in what sector you're working or what region you're working or coming from, this is really where we are connected. And so we would like to create a space where actually this connection, this deep connection, is the space that is holding our exchange, and where we can like ask our questions and challenges that we face every day, because then let's be honest, like this transformative change is something we desire, but it's not there yet, and life can be very tough, and life can be very hard, and it can be very frustrating. And so we would like to create this safe space called Soul Lab, where we meet in this common understanding and our common like longing for this change, and support ourselves in asking these questions, and also, but that not like on a technical problem solving scale that so many of us are constantly on, but you know, on this deeper level of human connectedness, of, you know, being parts of this circle, and then learning from these different perspectives and places that we are all in. So I love this, thank you. I love the circle picture. So yeah, it's really like, you know, exchanging of where I am in this, where's my position, where's my heart, how is my soul coping with all that struggle I'm doing. And so Soul Lab is about creating this space and doing this in like a structured, very simple process. So now it would be time for the slide, Ross, please. So I've tried to, you know, it's all fractals and it's all in a flow and stuff like that, but it is still a process where it will be a fixed group of people. So we find that crucial in building this safe space. And so it will be over like a fixed period of time where we would meet regularly, and it will be always a setup. So it might be something around 10 people. One case giver, one timekeeper, and then the rest of us circle members. And the case giver, and it will always be this flow of the case giver giving his or her case, what the question, what the challenge is really on being a social innovator, transformative change maker. And once we have heard this, there will be a moment of stillness. And then there will be a mirroring. So this stillness will be for everyone to, after you heard the story, to feel and see what that does to you. So what kind of ideas come into your head? What do you feel? And it can be images, it can be a drawing, it can be a song, a book, it can be a movement, it can be really anything that comes to you when you listened to that case giver's challenge. And so everyone of the circle would mirror back what he or she like experienced. And this will like open up the different perspective experiences like that everyone has with this certain, you know, what triggers you. And so it will be the field of dialogue, of reflecting, of what comes in, what happens in this circle when we open up to these questions and experience together what is going on. And so it will be rounded up by like last words from the circle, last words from the case giver. So it will have some kind of feedback and reflective moments in the end, and also the chance for journaling as will be included, of course voluntarily, but given the experience that we know that, you know, once you're in the next meeting or doing different stuff, then you might not come back to your thoughts and the experiences that you had in this very moment. So every time this process will take about, let's say, 90 minutes or overall. And every one of the group will be the case giver at any given point in time. And I hope I've made myself clear, and I will just hand over to Ross. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Silke. Yeah, I think the process is, really well explained. So Silke covered a little bit about the background to where we've kind of had the inspiration, and I experienced going through the Theory U ULAB process last year, which is a phenomenally transformative experience, and a few of you are nodding your heads, so I think you may have done the same or be at least familiar with the process. So we've utilized their case clinic journey, building in peer coaching ideas as well, thinking about the kind of the last statements and the closing words of thinking about some actions to take forward from that journey. And Theory U, the very famous quote that Otto Scharmer always says is the system becoming conscious of itself. And as Silke and linking to Anita's lovely circle explanation was this ability to start seeing the world from all of those multiple perspectives. And for me, there's a really strong sense of that we have this amazing collective wisdom, and to enter into those spaces and to get the presence with others and their mirroring back enables us to have a very, very different perspective on the challenge or the situation that we might find ourselves in. And miraculously, solutions can form that we hadn't even possibly thought about or imagined. So that space is a phenomenal opportunity for all change makers and entrepreneurs to find really innovative ways of thinking about their own journey and their own kind of soul expression in the world. What is it that they're really desiring to do, and how do they find a way towards that is really, really meaningful for them and encourages their well-being. So Theory U builds in this idea of co-sensing together, co-presencing together, co-creating together, and co-evolving, enabling that co-evolving for everybody who participates in the journey together. And it encourages the active and empathic listening. And there's lots of different levels of listening in Theory U. And the main one that Theory U really emphasizes within the case clinic journey, and what we've really adopted for Soul Lab, is the empathic and generative listening levels. So really finding a way of being open in those spaces, so building a huge amount of trust. The icebreaker activity we did with the objects is an example of how we can develop that, enabling people to reveal sides of themselves that they may not normally do in a networking event or in other spaces. And the empathic listening enables us to really sense where another person is coming from, or at least try to really get a sense of what their personal experiences are, and use our own intuition without trying to problem solve it or give them a solution. It's really about being present in ourselves and intuitively picking up on what emerges in us in response to their story. So those are the different types of levels of listening that we're wanting to really embody in the process. And I'm going to invite everybody now into a safe space, and we are aware that this is being recorded, but the micro mirroring activity, we will be going into breakout rooms, so that space will be completely a safe space for everyone to explore their challenge, and for the other person to mirror back. But the invitation to safe space amongst us as a group is around confidentiality. So we have this invitation each time we run Soul Lab. It's about an invitation to have an openness of heart, mind and soul, holding space co-responsibly. So we all share that responsibility, that we're non-hierarchical. So the structure of Soul Lab is that it isn't really facilitated by anyone. That role does get rotated, and all people get to take on being the case giver and the timekeeper. That we are invited to be compassionate and caring, and also humorous. So that is our invitation to our safe space. So I'm going to hand over to Silke, who is going to lead us in a very beautiful meditation that allows us to open into the Soul Lab space.
Yeah, thank you, Ross. And of course, usually we would be very open for questions, and we will have time later on, but given the very scarce time slot that we have, we will just for the moment move you forward to the process. And so, as just Rose indicated, we invite you to do a little meditation with us, or just relax and listen. And it's a Sawubona meditation. I don't know if some of you are familiar. It's a Zulu greeting, actually, and we have Faith here from South Africa, so that fits neatly. And I was given this meditation by a African American psychotherapist who is actually elaborating on the whole mindfulness practices in a more open cultural setting, and exploring something called a soulfulness. And he led this meditation once, and I heard it, and it actually reminded me, or it felt to me that this is exactly what we would love to create with Soul Lab. So yeah, here's the invitation to get comfortable and take a deep breath if you like. And yeah, and this is Sawubona. Sawubona, I see you. I see you through eyes that transcend my own sight, that transcend the visible and the material. I see you behind the walls you have put up and the masks you have put on. I see you beyond your conditions and circumstances. I see you as more than what you have done or what has been done to you. I see your humanity and your humaneness. I see at your best, manifesting your greatest purpose and soul's calling. I see the soul of who you are. I see you. Sawubona, I hear you. I hear you through ears tuned into the whisperings of soul and spirit. I hear you behind what has been silenced or muted. I hear you beneath what you say, beneath the words you use and language you speak. I hear you beyond what I want to hear. I hear the voice of your deepest intentions and highest aspirations. I hear your truth and your wisdom. I hear the soul of who you are. I hear you. Sawubona. I feel you. I feel you from the vibration of your oneness where our souls recognize each other. I feel you behind the visible and invisible barriers that separate us. I feel you beneath our differences, in that space of our interconnectedness with each other and all life. I feel the power of your ancestors flowing through you, over generations, across space and time. I feel your rhythm, your unique expression and energy in the world. I feel your vulnerability and your victories, your struggles and your strength, your tears and your triumphs, your regrets and your risings. I feel the soul of who you are. I feel you. I see you, I hear you, I feel you. Sawubona. So yes, this is, thank you. This is the spirit, this is the space that the interconnection actually that we would love to create, and this is where we would love to meet. And so yes, this is actually where you will now have the chance to do a little mirroring experience that will be part of the Soul Lab processes. And I hand over to Ross actually for the introduction of that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Silke. Every time I hear it, it just, yeah, always blows me away. Thank you. So yeah, a big element of the Soul Lab journey is the mirroring experience, and we wanted to give everybody participating with us in this session the opportunity to do a micro mirroring. So obviously in a Soul Lab environment, we would have a kind of longer period of time for the case giver, and you can prepare it, and then we would have a longer period of time for the whole group to feedback their different mirroring experiences. So we're going to do a slightly condensed version. And we're going to put you into pairs, and in your pairs, please do introduce yourselves so you can get to know each other a little bit more. And then obviously in the traditional way, you'll pick a person who will be A and a person who will be B. And person A will be the first case giver. And we're just going to ask you to think of a challenge or something that maybe has come up recently, something that's troubling you, maybe around a project or work or a relationship through your work, and to share what that challenge is and how it's making you feel. So what's kind of going on for you, and why is it troubling you? What's the kind of struggle there for you? And to just explain that in approximately 2 to 3 minutes. And then the person who is person B will be listening and just intuitively sense what's coming through when you're listening to that story. It might be an image that pops in your head. It might be something you want to draw down. It might be a symbol, as Silke was talking about, might be a quote or a piece of music or a book, or a story that you've heard. So anything that really emerges in your intuition while you're listening to that story from the case giver, just keep that in mind while you listen, and then you'll have 3 or 4 minutes to mirror that back and share that back to the case giver as your experience of their sharing. And then you can switch roles. So person B gets to be the case giver and person A will get to do the mirroring. We have the description here for the process. So once you're in the breakout rooms, I'll reshare that and that'll pop up in your chat for all of the breakout rooms. So you'll have the instructions, and we're going to give everyone approximately 15 minutes. So that gives you around about 6 minutes per role, between switching around and a couple of minutes to introduce yourselves at the beginning. Okay, Faith, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So shall one of us stay in the room with you, Faith?
Yeah, I was thinking perhaps I'll add Silke to one of the rooms, if that's okay.
Is that okay, Silke? Yeah.
Okay, great. Already then.
Okay, great. Thanks, Faith.
Shall we go into the rooms now?
Yes, please. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Rooms are opening. That's great. We got our first 2 returnees,
Yeah.
which is lovely.
Hi, Annika and Ellen. I hope it was a good experience for you both.
It really was.
Great.
Thank
Great.
you.
A pleasure.
So we got 2 minutes left for the others to join.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be returning soon as well.
Yeah. I was just wondering, Annika and Ellen, while we wait for the others to return, is there any sort of feedback about your experience of that you wanted to share? Obviously, you don't have to share the content that you discussed, but just what you thought about the process and how useful it was.
I thought it was really useful that you prefaced our breakout room with emphasizing that we don't have to focus on problem solving the person's issue, because the things that we talked about were way too complex to try to problem solve in a short conversation. And Annika and I both talked about how nice it was to just hold space to listen to the other person. And especially during this time when I've worked from home for over a year and I don't have a lot of one-on-one conversations. It's mainly these group sessions. So to just have a one-on-one, really personal exchange with somebody just felt really like nourishing.
Great. Oh, that's lovely to hear, Ellen. Thank you. Annika, did you want to feedback anything?
Yeah, I can totally agree with what Ellen said. It is really nice to just have a conversation about a topic that's been bothering me for a long time and will be bothering me for a long time, but to just hold the space for the problem and just have someone listen is a really nice experience.
Great, thank you. That's good to know.
All right, everyone should be joining in just under 20 seconds.
Yeah. Hi, welcome back.
Hello.
Hi. We just had some really lovely feedback. Ellen and Annika joined us a little bit sooner, so we had a little bit of feedback from them. So I just wanted to open the floor to anybody else about their experience, how they, if it's been beneficial, what they might have liked about the process, sort of any reflections on what it was like.
I have a couple, if I can jump in.
Mm.
So one is just how much I appreciate having this kind of a format. in general. So just wanted to say that to you all for organizing it. And secondly, that I think, Silke, you and I could have spent half an hour or longer diving into what we talked about, but as we were transitioning back, I realized this is often my experience with a really good yoga teacher, where you get into the room and they're doing their Dharma talk and you think, how do they know that about me, right? Like, I don't even know this person. How do they know that about me? So there's something about sort of things happening at the level of gestalt that we all experience individually. And I feel like the way that showed up in the conversation with Silke and I was, when you are a change agent and you're conscious of the transformation, the sea of transformation we're all swimming in, it can be a little disorienting about how to position yourself. And for me, it was this sort of conversation about confidence, and for Silke, it was a conversation about sort of positioning the business. But I think there's a very similar thread there, which is, it's all evidence of the fact that so much is in transition right now, which is equal parts fabulous, about time, and can be very disorienting as well when it's all up.
Great, thank you, Kathleen. Brilliant. Anita and Perla, we didn't get to introduce ourselves at the beginning, but I hope you and Anita had a lovely session together. Did you have any feedback you wanted to share? Oh no, there's no pressure. If you don't want to, it's all fine as well.
I was just offering an apology that I have to say goodbye for the evening.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you for joining us, Anita.
I've taken down some names, so I'll try to catch up with you on LinkedIn. Bye to you all.
Great. Take care, Anita. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm not able to open my camera, but I would like to say that the time flies, so definitely we would like to share more. But I think I realized that what I think that I was trying to explain, the other people understood, well, the other person, in this case, Anita. And it's very interesting that when you realize that, because sometimes I feel that I'm not giving the right information for the other people to understand. And when I realize that the other people is understanding, it's like, oh yeah, that's actually the feeling that I'm having. But I don't know, then it's like, oh yeah, then what am I supposed to do next? So I think this is like a good step to think about how to continue in this way that I was actually learning, sharing how do I feel, and but definitely I wanted to say thank you for the space.
Great, thank you, Paula. Really appreciate that. Yeah. And me and Silke, we are just about to finish up. If you're happy to stay just a couple more minutes, that would be hugely appreciated. But Silke and I just had a few questions for you, because we want to launch this for members of Catalyst and for any other interested groups if they want. And it would be really great to know if you would like to be involved. So if you would like to be involved, please do add your email address in the chat, and me and Silke will make sure we get in touch with you, invite you along to the launch of our first session for Catalyst. But also just a bit of an inquiry from our side. Silke, did you want to sort of share some of the questions we came up with?
Well, if you could go ahead. What did we? I don't have it right.
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to,
sorry.
Do you want me to do it? That's all right. It was about kind of the frequency of the sessions, how we might offer this, whether you would be happy doing a kind of fortnightly meetup. If you're happy doing kind of 2 hours, so that we can do 2 case clinics in each session when we meet up together. How do people kind of feel about that? Just any little bit of feedback would be really handy. If there's any thoughts. If not, it's fine. Me and Silke can kind of be in touch with you outside of this group, and we can find out. No?
I would need to reflect on that a little bit more, but I'm happy to give feedback via email.
Great. Okay, that's really useful to know. Thanks, Ellen. Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you. All right. Oh, Kathleen, sorry.
I just put a few initial thoughts in the chat just to say.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
All right, so I guess we leave it to that, and we'll catch up via email and with like proposals of how we could actually now start this like first pilot group for Catalyst. And as said before, we are looking for a group of 8 to 10 people, which we think would like be very beneficial from the different perspectives that would bring. Yeah, and I think we would start within the next weeks, so to say. So we right, Russ? Yes, we will move.
Yeah, definitely
on with that. And yeah.
Definitely. No, I think the aim would be to initiate a group from June onwards, yeah, to participate in the circle. Yeah. So we'll definitely be in touch. And I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's made it. Siva, I'm really sorry you've just arrived at the end of our session. So we are just about to finish now, but thank you for joining in at the end.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I couldn't make it on time.
Oh, we couldn't quite hear you. You're really quiet.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't make it on time. I was working and I kind of got a bit late.
That's all right, no worries. Thank you for joining us at the end. If you're interested to know more, please do pop your email in the chat, and then we can email you some details anyway.
Yeah,
So yeah, okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad you can make it. And Silke, would you like to say your goodbyes as well?
Yeah, just if there are any last question open or any thought anyone would like to share. Otherwise, thank you also from my side. It was wonderful having you, and we look forward to keeping in touch. Have a good evening or day, whatever time it is. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.